Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to take a look at a subscriber suggested video. Um, oh, here it is. Eyam Plague Village, Derbyshire from Eyewitness Histories here. I will link the video in the description along with links to Patreon and how you can support the channel here on YouTube. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it, see what this is all about.
The village of Eyam in the Derbyshire Dales is best known as the Plague Village, but its history goes much further back. A settlement was founded on the present site by the Anglo-Saxons, when mining continued and other industries later developed.
Look at those buildings. Whoa!
The Domesday Book of 1086 records Eyam as having land for 2 ploughs, and was inhabited by 12 villagers, having a value of 20 shillings. Lead mining seems to have been a continuous history in the Eyam district since at least the Roman era, and there is evidence of habitation from earlier. Stone circles and earth barrows on the moors above the present village have largely been destroyed, although some remain, and more are recorded.
These houses are wild. That stone
fame began in 1665, when a flea-infested bundle of cloth arrived from London for Alexander Hadfield, a local tailor. A few days after, his assistant George Vickers noticed that the bundle was damp and opened it up to inspect the cloth.
The blood.
Before long, he was dead, and more began dying in the household soon after. As the virus spread, the villagers turned for leadership to their rector, the Reverend William Mopesson, and the ejected Puritan minister Thomas Stanley. They introduced a few precautions to slow the spread of the illness from May 1666. The measures including the arrangement that families were to bury their own dead, and relocation of church services to the natural amphitheatre of Clucklop, which allowed villagers to separate themselves, and so reducing the risk of infection. But what Eyam is infamous for was the decision to quarantine the entire village to prevent further spread of the disease. Merchants from surrounding villages sent supplies that they would leave on marked rocks. The villagers then made holes there which they would fill with vinegar to disinfect the money left as payment. The plague naturally ran its course over 14 months, and one account states that it killed at least 260 villagers, with only 83 surviving out of a population of 350.
Wow.
That figure has been challenged, with alternative figures of 430 survivors from a population of around 800 being given. The church in Eyam has a record of 273 individuals who were victims of the plague. Survival among those infected appeared random, as many who remained alive had close contact with those who died but never caught the disease. For example, Elizabeth Hancock was uninfected, despite burying 6 children and her husband in 8 days. The graves are known as the Riley graves, after the farm where they lived. The unofficial village gravedigger, Marshall Howe, also survived, despite handling many infected bodies. Visiting the village today is a pleasure, which offers great walks and a small museum in which to explore. Eyam Museum opened on the 23rd of April 1994 as a small museum on a single level. The museum's galleries present the history of Eyam since prehistoric times, with a special emphasis on the plague and its impact on the village. The museum can get very busy, and as the rooms are small, it can make you feel a little claustrophobic and makes it difficult to read the boards. There is little in the way of artefacts, most of which are from the industries in the area, dating long after the plague. Most surprising of all is the lack of displays using dummies to portray plague victims, with there only being one, which is difficult to see. I think the museum could have more in the way of displays depicting plague victims, as that is what draws people to the museum and will make you feel more immersed into the village of 1665. There is an entrance fee to enter, with an adult costing £4, a child £3 or a family ticket at £11, which includes 2 adults and up to 3 children. For me, I thought it was too expensive for what the museum is in its current state, and I hope that more mannequin displays come at some point in the future.
Wow, look at that bench.
This is where George Vickers lived. He was the tailor's assistant and the first person to die of plague. Here are the Lydgate graves of a father and daughter surrounded by a walled enclosure. One gravestone reads, "Here lieth the body of George Darby, who died on July the 4th, 1666. The other reads, "Mary, the daughter of George Darby, died September the 4th, 1666. This is St Lawrence's Church. Thomas Stanley was rector here for many years.
Look at those doors.
Until he was replaced by the younger William Mopesson. The plague story is told in a stained glass window in the church. I will be doing a separate video on the church, so please do like and subscribe so you don't miss out.
I have to subscribe.
The boundary stone is halfway between Eyam and Stony Middleton, and during the plague it was a safe place for people from neighbouring villages to leave food and supplies in exchange for payment. According to local tradition, the people of Eyam did not have to pay for all their food and medical supplies, as the Earl of Devonshire, owner of Chatsworth House, provided most of what they needed. Members of the Hancock family are buried here, and the graves take their names from Riley Farm, where the Hancocks lived. In just 8 days, Mrs. Hancock buried her husband and 6 children. She survived the plague. When it was over, she went to live with her eldest son in Sheffield. Many years later, a descendant of the family returned to Eyam, found the scattered headstones and arranged them around the headstone of Mr. Hancock.
Gosh, could you imagine? I mean, losing like several of your kids. Even one is awful. Your husband, and then you somehow the survivor's guilt
did not exist in its present form. The hall was a rebuilding project carried out between 1671 and 1676 by Thomas Wright, the younger son of a local family. The village of Eyam is a great way to spend a day, and it is made easily navigable by a map purchasable from the museum. Green boards mark out the places of interest and offer an insight into the people who once lived there. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to share this video out there, and I will see you all next time. Until then, goodbye.
Wow, that's crazy. That'd be a really interesting place to go visit. I mean, I'd go to the museum and check it out, but even just like looking at these old like cottages and stuff, I think that's really cool. Checking out the old headstones. Gosh, it's wild to think of. Of course, then you think about that, so you're like, oh, they could have taken antibiotics. Of course, there wasn't antibiotics then, but then, I think for us, look at COVID. Nobody knew what to do, and even when people are telling you like this is what you should do, this is the precautions you should take, we don't know yet. There's still idiots that are like, nope. No, go do it. Don't tell me what to do. Even if you can help save somebody else's life or your own, they're like, nope, don't tell me what to do. But yeah, it's crazy. I think, you look back on the plagues, the different ones, and before COVID, you're like, how did that happen? How do you let that spread like that? But now we know, right? There's always gonna be these dummies. Of course, back then you have to like now we know a lot more. You know how things spread, I think, better. Back then they didn't have any idea. So I think they get more grace. But that's awful. Yeah, I can't imagine like that woman that lost all those kids and her husband to survive that. You would have the worst survivor's guilt of like, what could I have done differently? Or, I would have given my life in a minute for, one of my kids. But, yeah, that was a really good suggestion from you guys. I enjoyed that. I mean, it's very sad, obviously, but it's interesting history. I was trying to remember. I watched this documentary on the Black Plague and the bubonic plague. Or I don't know if they're the same ones, but like they were saying that they thought it was something that we still have today. That's still modern. We've just, we've got modern medicine. We've got, um, you know, hundreds of years of immunity to it at this point. But I was trying to remember during that, like what they said it was that, is currently around. And it wasn't like I don't think it was like the flu or anything like that, but I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it'll come to me later when I'm not even trying to think about it. But yeah, really good video. I appreciate you guys suggesting it. Anything else like this, please let me know in the comments because like I mean I think it's super interesting. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and we will do a castle later today. So tune in for that one. Have a good one, guys.